Welcome back to AP Daily. I'm Bryce McCaslin, and I teach AP2 Design and Drawing at Lovejoy High School in Lucas, Texas. Today, we're going to be talking about how practice, experimentation, and revision lead to synthesis between your materials, processes, and idea. So, what will we learn? Well, we return to the question, what is synthesis? And synthesis is the integrated relationship between your materials, processes, and ideas. We're also going to look at how can you strengthen these relationships in your sustained investigation through practice, experimentation, and revision. So let's look at some work. We all want to make phenomenal work. All of us. Whether you paint, whether you draw, whether you sculpt, it doesn't matter. We want to be extraordinary. But part of that we kind of, I guess we ignore, right? We don't like to admit that it's not magic. Because most people think it is. And really, to make extraordinary work, we have to practice. There has to be challenge and struggle and revision. Those are all really good things. It would be like a runner who wants to be extraordinarily fast, but they don't run. Or a singer that wants to sound incredible, but they don't sing. For us to be amazing at what we do, we have to practice. And for us, that means to create. There's really no set model for how you should practice. Really how you practice depends on how you think and really how you work. And so your practice could be exploring mark. Your practice could be exploring composition and thinking through your layout. Your practice could be about surface and media and your materials and your idea and how they work together. Really, when we see practice, we see it have an effect on the work. Now, practice can bring resolve to questions that you have about composition. Practice can answer questions about palette and about tone and even about scale. And practice can be an extension of your process so that as you're thinking, you're creating and problem solving. And it really becomes this extension between your idea and the relationship back to that process. We see it most whenever we get to see the idea resolved. And really, that's what we think we only should share, when the truth is that we need to share the entire journey. So, the time and commitment that you apply to practice becomes visible as synthesis. It's living between your materials, your process, and your idea. Now, when you stretch your media, when you stretch your thinking, and you reflect on your process, how you do things, and really the challenge of your idea, why you do things, practice can lead to experimentation. In that experimentation, a lot of times it's about us kind of being fluid and problem solving, thinking about what we see. It's always visual for us. And really that visual can be planning, it can be writing, it can be sketching, but it comes back to production and creation. And so whenever you practice, it helps you experiment. And experimentation equips you to make these informed decisions in your work. Now, practice and experimentation allow you to be intentional in how you pursue your artistic language. How is it that you create? How is it that you apply your media? And really, it refines and strengthens the synthesis between your idea, your process, and those materials, so that you can explore a range of possibilities in your process, and you're not limited to one approach. From woodcuts and embossments on paper, to exploring similarities between printmaking and mold making, to even stretching it to fabric and thinking about how that's similar in terms of figure ground and linear mark. And it becomes related to that original idea of printmaking, woodcuts, embossments. All media and experimentation impact the larger idea that's guiding your investigation. Now, with intention, practice and experimentation can inspire revision. A lot of times we're scared of revision because we think that if we have to revise something, that the first thing wasn't good. And that's not the case. It's that it helps us show growth. It helps us think about the truth of our idea and the processes that we go through to get there. And so it can transform work like this, about being a twin and having to share everything, to this more intimate view of that duplicity that's felt from growing up with and apart from someone. And this is really through this idea of limiting viewers' perception through these altered images and stereoscopic viewing. And through revision, it becomes this thing where you want to become more tactile and connect with the work. And so you begin recreating childhood experiences, narrating them. In this artist's case, creating them in gouache and pencil. And then working through to find resolve, melding those two approaches. So you're thinking both about your own experience and then how you can symbolically represent that relationship. Constructing representations of this duplicity and then rendering them to create compositional tension. Practice and experimentation inform that revision. And they develop the synthesis that we're looking for, that is between your media, your processes, and your idea. Now, when you have intentional practice, thoughtful experimentation, and informed revision, it allows you to confidently investigate your idea. And you can take something as simply beautiful as this tactile embroidery line, and you can turn it into a catalyst that really carries this personal investigation, so that you begin narrating that folklore and nostalgia of personal memory. And you allow it to transform your illustration into object. Through practice, experimentation, and revision, really as a platform for that synthesis. So, what should we take away? The first thing you should take away is that your investigation is not only about finished work. It is not 15 finished projects. It is about the journey that takes you to your idea. It's about you thinking through your media, the processes that you use to apply them, and really that larger idea that guides this investigation. It's about the practice, experimentation, and revision that gets you there. Now, to foster synthesis, you must practice, you must experiment, and you must revise. Practice will transform your work and its potential. Remember, it's not magic, but it's beautiful. Experimentation is absolutely built on the back of that practice. In order to be confident, you have to feel good about what you're doing. And to feel good about what you're doing, you got to lay down some time and some repetition. And then revision. Revision means that you're allowing yourself to be informed in that discovery, that nothing is happenstance, that you are behind and in control of this journey. So remember, dedicate your time, take risks, and welcome the challenge of growth. Thank you so much. I look forward to seeing you again.